Morning. Welcome everyone to the meeting of the Barrie Police Service Board for April 16th, 2026. I'd like to call the meeting to order and begin with our land acknowledgement. In keeping with Indigenous protocol and building respectful relationships between Indigenous and non-Indigenous peoples in Canada, it is customary to acknowledge the traditional territories and ancestral lands of Indigenous peoples. We would like to acknowledge this sacred land on which the Barrie Simcoe Emergency Service Campus operates. It has been the site of human activity for 15,000 years. This land is the ancestral land of the Wendat and Anishinaabe Nation. The treaty that was signed for this particular parcel of land is collectively referred to as the Williams Treaty. We are dedicated to honoring Indigenous history and culture. We also recognize the enduring presence of Indigenous peoples on this land and are committed to moving forward in the spirit of reconciliation and respect. Bigwitch. We're joined virtually this morning by Mayor Nuttall, Deputy Mayor Thompson, and Member Storm. Motion to approve today's agenda. Deputy Mayor Thompson, any comments, amendments, or changes to today's agenda? Seeing none, those in favor? Thank you. Any conflicts of interest any members would like to declare at this point with respect to today's agenda? Seeing none, our motion to approve our minutes of March 19th, 2025 on. Mayor Nuttall, any questions, comments, amendments to those minutes? Seeing none, those in favor? Thank you. Chief, I'll hand it over to you, please, to introduce some new staff sergeant and sergeant here at the service. Chief Johnson.
Thank you, Chair. So this is a really good part of the job. Just going to read a little bit of background to first Staff Sergeant Mike Velma. Staff Sergeant Mike Velma began his career with the Barrie Police in 2002. That same year, he got married and has since raised 3 sons, the youngest of whom is currently studying law enforcement at Georgia College. Mike spent the first 10 years of his career as a frontline uniform officer, much of that time serving as a recruit trainer, and I'll go into that a little later here. In 2009, he was seconded to the Ontario Provincial Police's Organized Crime Enforcement Bureau, where he spent 5 years in the Biker Enforcement Unit. This experience has helped shape his strong interest in intelligence-led policing. After returning home from the secondment, Mike briefly resumed his uniform duties before being assigned as a criminal investigator in 2018. He was promoted to sergeant in 2019 and went on to spend 6 years in investigative services as the officer in charge of the intelligence unit. In November 2025, Mike returned to uniform patrol as a supervisor, and in December 2025, he was promoted to the rank of staff sergeant. Throughout his career, Mike has demonstrated a strong commitment to both public safety and community service. 2017, he and a colleague were awarded a life-saving award for intervening in a critical incident involving a suicidal individual. Outside of policing, Mike is an active member of the Midhurst community, volunteering over 20 hours each month with the Midhurst Community Recreation Association, where he helps maintain a local sports pavilion. He's also a dedicated blood donor, contributing nearly 100 donations since 2002. On a personal note, I was a staff sergeant, a brief staff sergeant for Mike back in the day when he was a coach officer, and I still tell the story today with respect to how he's altering our culture within this organization. He took his recruit to what we probably now call a non-police call, but so important. And he doesn't remember, but we had an alarm call, and it was an elderly couple, and Mike took his rookie back to help change the battery because the elderly couple were unable to access it and change it on the night shifts. So I know, but it is the stuff that changes how people feel about us and look at us. So with that, I'm very appreciative of that human approach. So with that, I'd like to present our new Staff Sergeant Mike Velma. to put on my glasses again there. Thank you, Chair. Next is Sergeant Matt Mulhall. Matt began his policing career with the Barrie Police Service in 2008, following in the footsteps of his father, a constable with the Ontario Provincial Police, making him a second-generation police officer. He holds a Bachelor of Arts at Lakehead University. Over the course of his career, Matt spent 9 years working in downtown Barrie, where he built strong relationships with community partners, supporting unhoused individuals. He later served 6.5 years as a detective constable in the General Assignments Unit, where he investigated over 1,000 criminal cases and authored more than 110 search warrants. Matt currently serves as a family liaison officer, providing ongoing support to families affected by homicide. Dedication to service has been recognized with the Barrie Police Service Life-Saving Award. Beyond his policing duties, Matt is deeply involved in the community as a minor hockey trainer. He's married and a proud father of 4 children. His spouse, Kim, is here today. Matt also contributed to the Barrie Police Association for 7 years, and he is also an individual who, one of the few who volunteered himself for a procedural justice course that I have had the pleasure of having a great deal of conversation with Matt. And I remember sitting in the investigations office area in terms of where we want to take this organization. And I hope he remembers that conversation, because I think it's in a perfect spot to influence culture of this organization. So with that, I will hand Sergeant Mulhall his badge.
Thank you, Chief. Yes, this is one of the best parts of the job, isn't it? I'm not sure. Our next item on our agenda is an update on our social media statistics, Chief, but do you want to lead that first?
Thank you, Chair. No, I will hand it directly over to Grace Woodman from our strategic communications area to provide the board some insights on the great work being done in that area. Grace.
Welcome, Grace.
Okay, so I'm just going to quickly go over some social media analytics for the first quarter of this year. So overall, we had a strong and consistent presence across all of our social media platforms. We saw over 270,000 engagements and reached over 4 million people. And I put this to a lot of the producers that we have yet on Thursday, CPS Safety Minute, Fact or Fiction, and then we also had 2016 International Women's Day, which told stories of some of our amazing women police officers that have been serving our city, the Fraud Prevention Month, and then National Crime Prevention Week. So we saw steady audience growth across both of our platforms. Notably, Instagram a steady increase. Facebook was a little bit stagnant for the first couple of months, but we did see that big up at the end of March. And again, I just put this to a lot of the great content that we've been putting out that's been community focused, safety message focused, and just giving that behind the scenes and providing better understanding of the safety and service overall. So we do know that video content is driving the most engagement, and that people like the educational safety focused messaging. And the centered storytelling, so that behind the scenes content that's building the connection and trust between us and our community. And lastly, the friendly content that impacts the residents. For whatever. The opportunities that we do have though are increasing content designed to expand our reach, so that shareability is leveraging platform trends strategically, but maintaining that professionalism. Exploring some of the interactive features. So we're going to start doing some Q&As, some polls across our stories to ultimately increase engagement with our community and hear from them. And then lastly, optimizing post frequency based on platform best practices. So how is this helping? We're building trust with the city of Barrie. We're providing the transparency possible. We're enhancing two-way communication between the city and the city. So,
Thank you for your presentations. Questions from the board? I'm looking at Mr. Conley specifically.
Yeah, thanks, Chair, and thanks, Ms. Whitman. Just briefly, I think if you could just speak to the one word that came out several times in your presentation is the word engagement. There was direction, I think, eventually to services, but also from the board to the service to enhance and move the direction towards community engagement. We talked a lot about reflecting, serving, making sure we're representative of the community we serve and reflecting the community, et cetera. But for a long period of time, there was sort of a bit of a divide or a disconnect between the service and the members. So can you just speak to that engagement? How does social media and the specific strategy that you're using actually drive us in that right direction?
Yeah, so I think we're giving them, I'm just going to use one of our specific examples, Pop Thursday. So that's specifically answering just some of the questions that the public has of policing. And it could be as something as simple as why are they parking window to window in the parking lot, or why are they just sitting and idling in a parking lot? And we posted videos and we explained the why of that. So if they're sitting in a parking lot, they're idling, they're probably finishing up notes from the previous call, or they could be preparing to vote their next call. So I think it's providing the public that understanding of what we do, how we do it, and why we do it. That's building the engagement, but also that behind the scenes piece, they're really getting to know the people who are serving our city. So if you look at some of our children's day posts, we're really humanizing our officers. And we're just getting to know them on a more personal level. We can see that they like this type of content because we're seeing a lot of likes, a lot of shares, a lot of saves, a lot of posts, which is a good thing because they're ultimately sharing it with their network, which is giving us information. I hope that answers your question.
Thanks, Ms. Whitman. No, excellent presentation. Appreciate it. I'm glad to see the trajectory. So.
Yeah, myself personally, who's not on social media, but I do keep an eye on our posts, and I might personally like the videos rather than reading through, which I do, but I enjoy the videos, and also not only informative, it puts a face or faces to our members from the community perspective. It's not just a media release and here's information, and actually there's a connection, and I was happy to see that the results trajectory, but also that the videos are making a difference. So as Mr. Khan said, it was a strategic priority of the board that we increase our presence and let our community know what we do, things, how we do things, and why we do things. So thank you very much for the presentation, and I'm excited to see, 6 months from now, Chief, we could have an update to see, or is it going to be quarterly? Is that the plan? But we look forward to an update to see that trajectory continues. Thanks again for your presentation. There were 7 items distributed in advance in today's consent agenda: employee wellness, pay duty, time and attendance, use of force, missing persons and urgent demands, public complaints, and human resources report. Are there any of those consent items any member has a question with respect to? Ms. Strong, please.
Thank you, Chair. And not a question, just a comment, on the wellness report, just to thank Mr. Bound, Ms. Palermo, and their team. That is a very extensive report. There's lots of really good information in there, and we can see that we're trending in a positive direction. And since member wellness is a priority of the board, I just wanted to acknowledge that report and all of the good work that's taking place within the service to support member wellness. As a member, I really appreciate everything that we're doing in this area.
Thanks, Ms. Strong. Yes, I echo that. That's been a priority for many, many years of this board. Any other questions on the consent items? Seeing none, motion to approve. Strong, any further questions? Those in favor? Thank you. I did see that there. Back to you, I guess, Chief, for your monthly update to the board and to the community. Chief Johnson.
Thank you, Chair. Just had to make some last minute alterations in design styling on this, so hopefully it works out nicely. So thank you once again, Chair, yourself and the board, the opportunity to apprise board and the community with some of the ongoings last month. So congratulations to Cheryl Bossy, who retired after 34 years in policing. The deputy and I were happy to join the team at the courthouse to celebrate Cheryl's career and wish her well in retirement. On March 19th, Cadet Sam Mahmood served as the parade commander for the Ontario Police College March Past. This is an immense honor for the service and especially for Cadet Mahmood. As far as we're aware, that's the first time in Barrie Police Service history, which is long, that we've had a parade commander. So a bit of pride there for us as well. On March 20th, members of the Barrie Police Service took the ice against the members of the Barrie Fire and Emergency Services in a friendly hockey game in support of Hospice Simcoe. While we may not have been the winners on the scoreboard, it was a great night for all and a great opportunity to raise funds and awareness for a great community partner in Hospice Simcoe. And we were any fundraiser we were really happy to see. So on March 26th, we attended the Barrie the City of Barrie and Partners official announcement of the return of the Barrie Air Show this summer, including the return of the Canadian Forces Snowbirds. Self and the deputy were on hand to see the announcement. It should be some exciting times. Special constables with the Barrie Police Service, our guardians, joined in March break activities at the Barrie Public Library. Special constables Wong, Grenier, and Tom are pictured with library staff Ophelia, Audrey, and Megan. There's some fruits of their labor there. Again, participating with the community and the kids, just to the human aspect and the human side and policing there. On March 31st, OPP Constable McDonald stopped by for a visit on his last day before retirement. Constable McDonald attended the Ontario Police College with the Barrie Police Service Constable Bosch and Staff Sergeant Richter and worked here at the Barrie Police Service before joining OPP. We wish him all the best in his retirement. Sergeant McGibbon, an organizational researcher, Madison Sharman, had the opportunity to meet a fourth-year forensic psychology student at Trent University, Matthew Makarov, to learn about his research project, Why Not Policing? Understanding the Barriers of Police Recruitment for Today's Service-Driven Youth. And I'm going to give you a few highlights of the research because that's the point. It's how does it operate? How do we operationalize it? So it was based on a couple hundred surveys. A majority of the students want to see better hiring and use of force policies, community engagement, and improved training on culture of diversity for police services. Students identified the usage of force and weapons, police culture, and the police's public perception as being the main reasons preventing a career in policing. Many students believe the culture of policing is resistant to change and utilizing reform efforts. So there is recognition in the research that students are aware there's a difficulty in achieving a work-life balance, but I appreciate they cite the need for more informational events and involvement of youth policing earlier on in youth lives to have greater influence. So very interesting research. We had a number of events over the past month. We did an interview with the Barrie 360, the podcast about issues impacting Barrie. The Barrie Police Service has officially launched the next generation 911, enhancing emergency communications and response times for the community. And G911 represents a transformative upgrade to the traditional 911 network, offering several improvements. Faster access to accurate caller location and phone number data for emergency dispatchers. What that means is if you're in a building, one of the aspects of that is you can tell what floor you're on. There's elevation, which is a three-dimensional versus a two-dimensional view, where they are in the building. Increased reliability and cybersecurity, additional backup capabilities in the event of a network failure, and potential for real-time text and live emergency video calls in the future. We also hosted our second community conversation series talk featuring experts in the field of face matching, facial recognition. That was well attended, both virtually and in person. Thank you to members of the Community Safety and Wellbeing team who joined the the Homelessness, Addiction, Recovery, and Treatment Hub launch to learn more about the resources available. And yesterday, our recruits joined me for our traditional run sort of shuffle down at the waterfront. It was a very enjoyable time. Members of the Barrie Police Service virtually participated in the panel on the Canadian Association of Police Governance Summit, including board member Khan. There it is. Yes, amazing. Good discussion there. Barrie Police also participated in the 30 Forward Summit in Ottawa. Barrie Police Service's own Inspector of Investigative Services as a co-chair of the CACP Victims of Crime Committee alongside Superintendent Machine of the Ottawa Police Service presented on Canada's framework for trauma-informed response at the End Violence Against Women International Conference in New Orleans. With Russ, the service, Secretary of State Combating Crime, the Honorable Ruby Sahota visited the Barrie Police Service headquarters for a visit to discuss the federal lawful access bill and to learn more about the work of our investigators. Deputy Burke also had the opportunity to attend the Rotary Lunch where she spoke the following day. On behalf of the Barrie Police Service, Inspector Moore received the 2025 Mayor's Innovation Award in the Municipal Innovation category. Barrie Police received the second runner-up award for its joint adoption of barcode scanners in the property section in partnership with the water treatment plant. Inspector Moore was a champion of that change, and we were happy to see him recognized. Some investigations. On Tuesday, March 17th, police received several reports of masked individuals smashing jewelry display cases with hammers and stealing merchandise before fleeing the Bayfield Street Mall in a dark-colored sedan. The investigation remains ongoing, and investigators are looking for 4 suspects believed to be males in their late teens or early 20s. They were seen leaving the area in a dark-colored sedan, traveling in an unknown direction along Bayfield Street. Barrie Police have arrested and charged 2 individuals after police received a report in December 2025 about a private business sale transaction involving a large cash payment described as a down payment. Police learned that the Barrie Police business owner had accepted a substantial amount of Canadian and American currency for the transaction, which was later discovered to be counterfeit. In March, a search warrant was executed in Whitby, where police located counterfeit currency with a face value estimated at around $1.5 million. The Barrie Police Service has made 3 arrests and laid multiple charges following a shooting in the city's downtown during the early morning hours of Sunday, April 5th, 2026. On Tuesday, April 7th, 2026, members of the Barrie Police Tactical Support Unit attended a residence on Fitton Street in Midland, Ontario, and took 3 individuals into custody without incident. Search warrant executed at the residence resulted in the seizure of a loaded .40 caliber handgun, believed to be connected to the shooting. Investigators also carefully combed through CCTV footage of the downtown area, which was invaluable in advancing the investigation. Barrie Police wish to thank the Ontario Provincial Police Underwater Search and Rescue Unit for its assistance in searching Kempenfelt Bay and recovering evidence. Just after midnight on Saturday, April 11th, Barrie Police were contacted regarding a report of a male who had been stabbed in the area of Ann Street North and Donald Street. As a result of the ongoing investigation into an overnight stabbing, detectives from the Barrie Police Services Criminal Investigations Unit are seeking the assistance of the public in locating 28-year-old Adam Myshak of Barrie, who is wanted in relation to this incident. On Sunday, April 12th, at roughly 11:40 p.m., police received a report of multiple shots fired into a residence on Carly Crescent. On arrival, officers located 2 vehicles in the driveway that had been struck by gunfire. Fortunately, no one was injured, although multiple people were inside the residence at the time of the incident. Police are asking anyone who may have information, including video footage of dash camera recordings from the area around the time of the incident, to contact the Barrie Police Service. Last slide, Chair. A board report on the Barrie Police Services 2025 Community Safety Survey results will be presented in May. However, with declining response rates, it has become evident that a more meaningful approach is needed. Much of the data collected is treated as anecdotal commentary rather than qualitative data due to the limitations of our survey collection methods and the growing robustness of our own call-related data. Advantis, the Canadian-based social and market research firm, has utilized the identified core indicators to develop a subscription-based model that would allow police services to not only survey their own residents, but to compare their local results to the results of other Canadian police services across other similar-sized services. This model also provides a cost-effective way for police services to take part in a methodologically sound third-party administrative process. Barrie Police Service will be taking part in Advantis' 2025 Police Service Benchmark Program, which will see data collection take place in May and June, and a report provided to the Barrie Police Service by early August. This will allow BPS to compare our results to other participating police services across Canada to determine how we are performing in both procedural justice and perception of crime. Residents may receive an interactive voice response call or text message. Those agreeing to complete the survey are text a link to an online survey, which they can complete on their smartphone or desktop, laptop, computer. We want to assure the community that this is a legitimate survey. And with that, Chair, I will hand it back to you unless there's any questions.
Thanks for your update, Chief Johnston. Any questions for the Chief? One question, a couple comments I have, Chief. The next gen 911's been phased in over a number of years. Is this the last phase, or is there something to continue on? I mean, I know if we're always changing, but with respect to this specific project.
There are multiple phases still to come with the at some point in the future with the realization of not FaceTime, but live, the ability to live time call, video calling with these services across Canada. So there's many spaces still to come.
Thank you. Just like to congratulate both the Barrie Police Service Association and the Barrie Fire Association on the hockey team. I had the privilege to attend. It was well attended. It's really great to see a lot of kids, young people there, and think that respect the team for our service and obviously for Barrie Fire. It's well served by the event. So congratulations to both associations for putting on a wonderful event. And the advantage, the last thing, I look forward to the comparative. I think from the person sitting in this chair is often challenged the chief and the deputy. Okay, that we've got some data. How does it compare to our colleagues? I think that's important. Yeah, okay, we have the data, but so I look forward to seeing how it relates to other services data and how we can improve. So I look forward to seeing that. Seeing any other questions? We have an appointment of 3 special constable members. A motion to approve the appointment of the following special constable members of the Barrie Police Service pursuant to provisions, section 92 of the Community Safety and Policing Act of Ontario, regulation 396-13, Barrie, Morrow, and Walsh. A motion to approve those. Mr. Khan, seconder. So moved. Mayor Nuttall, any questions, comments with respect to the motion? Seeing none, those in favor? Thank you. That ends our public agenda today. A motion to move in camera in accordance with section 44(1)B and section 44(1)B of the Community Safety and Policing Act. Mayor Nuttall, Mr. Khan, all those in favor? Thank you. So that concludes our open for today. We will not be going back open our in camera. So thank you everyone for attending today.